What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm gonna try to answer one of the most common questions regarding the Volvo C40, and that is how practical is this car, this electric coupe SUV from Sweden. Haven't driven this car for a couple of months now. Being quite tall, I'm 2 meters 8 or 6'9" inches, and we carry a dog around pretty much. I'm pretty sure I can answer that question right now. So let's get started. So let me briefly tell you a bit more about this specific car. This is the model year 22 Intro Edition Volvo C40, the first electric only Volvo car there is. I hear you ask, will there also be a model year 23 C40 and XC40? Yes, there will, and I also made a couple of videos about that regarding the facelift and updates. If you are interested in that, videos are on my channel, so make sure you check them out. Link is now on the screen, which you can of course watch after this video. So this is the Volvo C40, the first SUV coupe from Volvo Cars. It's based on the CMA platform, a well-known platform within the Geely group. Similar cars, for example, the XC40 has that platform as well, the C40 being direct sibling, of course, to that car, but also the Polestar 2 and the Lynk&Co 01, all brands within the Geely group. So where does the C40 differ in practicality, for example, over the XC40? Well, the car, good to know, is exactly the same until the B pillar up here. And of course, this car is the facelift, but on the XC40 in a couple of weeks, that will be exactly the same as well. Anyway, the B pillar. From there you will see that this car is an SUV coupe, of course. So that means, practicality-wise, for passengers in the rear, they have less headroom. A couple of centimeters, but it makes quite a difference. It slopes down quite aggressively, so to say, in the interior. So make sure if you have a lot of passengers in the back, you check if this is the car for you. Another thing, practicality-wise, or yeah, let's call it that, is the blind spot of the car. Of course, a blind spot is not practical, but I've driven an XC40 for 2 years and I always was a little bit annoyed by the blind spot of the car. And I figured that on the C40 it would be exactly the same. But if you pay attention, you will see that this line over here on the C-pillar of the car continues for a little bit, where on the XC40 this line immediately goes up. On the C40 the line continues a little bit and then slowly goes up over here. So visibility wise, or for the blind spot, the C40 is way better because this is basically extra view of the car. And I'm very happy with that because on the XC40, as I said, I was a little bit annoyed by it. But in the C40, it feels like you have lots of, well, view to your blind spot. So I really like that. Then also a fun fact regarding the height of the car. On official documents, Volvo states that the C40 is 7 centimeters lower than the XC40. But that is because Volvo measures officially from the point of the antenna, and that is over here. But if you pay attention, you will see that the C40 is just as high as the XC40 over here on its highest point. But as they measure from the antenna, which is here, and also on the XC40 over here, that is of course a little bit higher, and that is where that 7 centimeters height difference comes from. So don't be fooled. The C40 over there is just as high as the XC40. So then let's have a look on the rear of the car. Of course, the trunk being the coupe, that is where in functionality and practicality it differs a little bit. By the way, fun, cool thing, if you unlock the car, you will see these animated tail lights. Super cool. Anyway, this has the hands-free option as well. So if you kick on the left side of the license plate over here, it will open by itself. Don't use it that much, but anyway, you got it. So how does it differ over the XC40, for example? Until this cover over here, so basically up here, it is exactly the same as the XC40. Over that, of course, it differs a little bit having this coupe line. Personally, I'm not that bothered with it. I can fit lots of things in this car. Compared to the XC40, I'm not really noticing that much of a difference, to be frankly honest. It differs 50 to 70 liters with the XC40, and that's not that much, but that is because this car has the frunk, the latest modern invention, so to say. So a front trunk, as there's no engine, you got a little bit of space for luggage over there as well. Super useful. So up front in the interior, it is basically the same as the Volvo XC40. This being the newly designed car, the facelift, so to say. We got a couple of new inlays. these black ones over here, which are super cool at night, by the way. Make sure you check that out. And also a couple of new upholstery options. For example, I've got the fjord blue interior with the vegan leather nowadays. So super cool, but keep in mind that from the model year 23 XC40, for example, those options will also be available. But one benefit that the C40 over the XC40 has, and that is the head space, so the interior space. And that all has to do with the fixed sunroof the C40 comes with. On the XC40 you have a sunroof which can open, let's put it that way. So that means you need a curtain, you need rails and all that. And in the C40 it is fixed, so you do not need that. That means that this car has 5 centimeters more head space in the front of the car, so until the B pillar. For me, being so tall, that is super useful, and the coupe SUV is actually more spacious for me in that sense compared to the XC40. So over here, 5 centimeters, and you can kind of see it as well, like this part over here. Super useful, and I'm very happy with that. There are also some clever storage tracks in this car. For example, over here we got 2 card holders. Super useful, especially for electric vehicle drivers, as you need these freaking passes at every charging station. Anyway, also in the doors over here there's lots of space. As you notice, there is no stereo or speaker over here. That is all integrated into the dashboard of the car. For example, over here you see this nice speaker. There's also an air ventilated subwoofer on the right part of the car over here in the dashboard. So it's all, well, very nicely and tidy over there. That means you got lots of storage space. For example, a big bottle. Nice little Volvo bottle, by the way. But anyway, you can even store a laptop, for example, in there. What else do we have? Well, for example, here, very clever, a nice little garbage can. Super useful, you can take it out as well. We used to have a little net over here on this bin, but that is removed, I guess, cost savings. Anyway, you can put it back there. And also the famous takeout hook over here, pop it out, and there you go. You're ready for some nice takeout, max 2 kilos, I believe. Keep that in mind. Besides that, we also have a nice wireless charger for your iPhone over here. I do experience that this one is not as good as the one I had in my XC40. My phone tends to, well, slip over it and then it's not charging, so you got to pay attention to that. Do note that if you are charging, you will see a nice little icon over here when that's active. So then the thing where the C40 is not so practical, and that is the rear view from the interior mirror. Being in coupe, the view is quite limited, obviously. But myself, I can look back for about 2 to 3 car lengths, and that's pretty much it. If I want to see further, I kind of need to nod down a little bit, and then I can see a little bit further back. Yeah, the window in the rear is super flat, but you know, design coupe, that's the choice you make. Make sure you check that for yourself, as well, as it could be a bit annoying. Myself, I tend not to find it that annoying, to be honest, as the exterior mirrors of this car are quite big, so you can, well, adjust them to a nice position that you can also look a bit further back and keep everything, well, in mind in that regard. And the car also comes with blind spot monitoring, so it will look out for you as well. And if you steer towards an other lane and there's another car, anything like that, the car will steer you back into your lane. So safety, of course, Volvo. Oh, and before I forget, you can also fold down the headrests in the rear. I did not prepare this. Yes, I did. Look at this. Bam, there we go, super awesome. So that makes the rear view also a bit better in that sense. So let's have a little closer look then in the rear of the car regarding practicality. Over here some storage, which is useful. Also here small speakers then, because, well, you can't really store them anywhere else. Anyway, if we have a look over here regarding the headspace of the passengers, it's quite limited, as you can see. Well, there's barely any space here in between, so that's really tight. Keep that in mind. So then this nice sunroof, which is super awesome if you ask me. I really like it. And we got the new inlay, so the fjord blue, I really like it. You know, makes this car very special. And also, interestingly enough, regarding functionality, there's a tunnel still in the middle. Of course, not so useful for the third passenger here in the middle. But there you can see that this car was also considered to be a plug-in hybrid, having the drivetrain in there. Also a detail that this car is a direct sibling to the Volvo XC40. So what else do we have? Some ventilation over here, which is practical, of course. And in the European cars, the rear heated seats are removed on most markets. So that's quite interesting, but I believe in North America it's still available. So make sure you check that. So to conclude, I'm gonna show you guys how to practicalize your Volvo C40 regarding space in the back. So let's open this one up. For the convenience, I already put the cover now in the floor or underneath the floor of the car. That's a bit more of a hassle as I've got this more advanced floor now with a mechanism in it that you can also fold it. So you need to like push the cover really in there. Anyway, next step, fold down the seats. So that is partially by hand and partially automatic. So if I push this, the headrest will fold automatically, and then I push this one down. That's one. Over here, that is two. Then I've got this nice OEM accessory from Volvo, this mat or this cover. Two sides, a nice textile side and also a nice rubber side, useful for, of course, if you have been to the woods with your dog or anything. It's also extendable, so I can put this now over here and extend that over the entire floor. And then the next thing, which is very useful and also for safety, is that the car comes with a net or a safety net or a cargo net, which you can attach to the ceiling of the car. So over here, I've already prepared it a little bit. We put this one over here and we fold it in. Now we go to the other side. There you go. Anyway, you can also hook this up to a nice little anchor, so to say, underneath the seats. Then you have a nice little storage area. So there we go, guys. That is the practicality and functionality of the Volvo C40 from my point of view. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below in the comments. I am happy to help you answering or finding your perfect Volvo, perhaps. I don't know. Leave them down below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up as well, and also subscribe to the channel. That helps me out a lot. And for those of you who already subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate it big time.